I wanted to give you guys a little bit of an update on my drinking status. Today makes day number 7 that I have not had a drink, and I am going to 100% attribute that actually to a girl from YouTube. She wrote me a really long message about, if, congratulations for deciding that you're going to do this. However, if you screw up, don't feel bad. And her first message was really, really, really sweet. It almost made me cry. And I was walking to work when I got her message, and that was going to be the first night I worked without drinking. And, oh God. So I get there, and I find out that I did get fired from that club. I have no idea what happened. Like I said, I still don't know what happened. I don't know if it's because I was drunk while I was there, or I really don't know what it was. Or it could have been I didn't show up for my first shift. So not that it matters, but it was raining and it was cold. And when I called an Uber, it kept dropping me on the map oh my God, I don't even know, 20 minutes away. And it was walk this far, and it was freezing cold outside. I mean, it was under 50 degrees, and it was raining, and I was just freezing to death cold. And I thought I was going to pass out. I was nervous because of going back in. I hadn't been back in there, and I didn't know what had happened. So I was nervous, and I was sick because I was still letting the alcohol seep through my pores. That was the day I decided to quit drinking. So I was still sweating bullets of, alcohol, and I felt crazy bad. I felt crazy bad. So I get in there, and I'm a train wreck, nervous. No, I didn't even go in on Monday. So I went in on Wednesday, and when I get in there, I see the house mom, and I can tell there was something a little bit wrong. But I kind of just tried to play it off, and I was going to say, hey, I'm so sorry I didn't come in on Monday. I tried to call, and I did try to call, but she wasn't there. So I thought, okay, she's not there, so I guess I don't have anyone to tell. Thinking about it, though, I should have asked a manager. I should have asked to speak to a manager, but I didn't because I'm not used to the whole scheduling thing, and I just thought she was the one that made the schedule, so I didn't think it mattered, but I was wrong. I don't know why I got fired. I don't know if it was because I missed my first shift or because I was wasted on the first night I was there and somebody figured it out. I don't think that they knew that I was drunk, because I don't think that they would have let me leave if they had known I was plastered. I don't think. Maybe, but I doubt it. I've never worked at a strip club that's let girls leave drunk. So I don't know either way. So anyway, I end up going into a bar after I find out that I don't have my job anymore. I will tell you, I felt an unbelievable amount of relief knowing I was not going to have to work that night, because I was still just a train wreck. And so I was really happy that I wasn't going to have to work that night. So as I'm leaving, I stop at the door. Oh my God. And here was a sign. So when I get in there, right, I get to the door, and I start talking to this guy out front of the door. And I said, hey, I was I know this is a silly question. I said, but do I go in the front door, or is there a back door for the girls? And he laughed, and he said, you're as funny as you are adorable. And I was like, oh, thanks. And I was and then I introduced myself to him, and he looks at me, and he shakes my hand, and he looked at me like, we have met each other before. And I was like, fuck, I just gave myself away. And I found that out later for sure after I was leaving. But when I get inside and I see the house mom, and I find out that there's something wrong and everything, first of all, before I find out that there's something wrong, as soon as I get in the back and I start getting undressed, a tall, pretty brunette girl walks up to me, and she goes, hey, with this bright smile on her face. And I was like, hi. I had no idea who she was, and she could tell I had no idea who she was. She could tell. Her entire personality just changed immediately. This girl has no clue who I am. And I felt really bad about that. But what do you do? What am I going to say? Sorry, I was plastered the night I met you, and I don't have a clue who you were. Apparently, I did orientation with her. So we went through all of orientation together, and yeah, so that happened. And then the house mom comes up, and she's like, so there's a problem with your contract. And I was like, is this about Monday? And I didn't even want to say, or it could have been the day I got here. I didn't know what to say. I was like, is it about Monday? And I tried to explain to her, and she goes, well, one of the managers canceled the one that hired me, terminated your contract or whatever he did. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, listen, I'm so sorry. Like, I know that I screwed up. And really, all I felt in that moment was relief. And I felt, bad because I knew that was a really good club, but that's okay. I believe I can possibly get my job back there when I'm ready for it. I'm not ready for it yet anyway. Like, I kind of like where I'm at the moment. It's very, very slow, but the other places, it's just, I don't know. It kind of reminds me of working at a place like Penthouse or Dollhouse. Like, and when I say that, I mean kind of stuffy, just kind of like too uptight, too many rules, too many people watching you, like not customers necessarily, just management and stuff like that, just kind of uncomfortable and awkward. So I'm okay with the fact, like I was thinking I was going to go back the next day and go back the next day and go back the next day and keep asking them to hire me back and tell them, listen, I'm not drinking anymore. I was a train wreck when I first got here because I didn't have a place to stay. I was bouncing from place to place. I had no sleep. Like, I had a lot of stuff going against me when I first got here, for sure. And I really do feel so much different. So speaking of feeling so much different, so I go to a bar after I leave there because I was like, okay, I need to, I went straight to a different club. First I went to a different club and I go inside and they're like, they say the girl that's on stage is the amazing, and then they say my real name. And I was like, that's weird. I was like, is that weird? I was like, that seems like a sign. And as soon as I walked in there, the door guy, adorable, by the way, or the floor guy, he was like, what's up? He didn't say, how are you? He didn't say, how can I help you? He just said, what's up? And I was like, interesting. And when I was leaving, sorry, I'm jumping around a lot, I know. When I was leaving the club that I got fired from, I asked the door guy on my way out the door, I said, so tell me, he goes, so you're not staying with us tonight? And I said, no, I said, I think I fucked up. And he laughed and he was like, he goes, yeah, they can be kind of hard on the girls sometimes. He goes, sometimes they got to make it hurt a little bit before they can let you come back. And I was thinking, well, I don't know if they're going to let me come back, but whatever. And I said, so tell me, what's the next best club around here? And he told me, and he goes, honestly, he goes, all the managers over there they got fired from over here for being too cool. He was like, they were too laid back, they were too chill, they were too nice and polite and stuff. He goes, so they got fired. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. So I thought that was really interesting. And he flat out told me, he goes, I've seen you like 6 times. And I was like, oh, yeah, about that. Like, no, I didn't know I'd seen you 6 times, because I had been there by there a couple times in the day, because that first night I had lost my purse, which I don't even know if I told you guys about. I lost my purse with everything in it. I mean, everything. I lost my IDs. I lost all my money. I lost something in there that was extremely valuable. I lost all my stuff. I had no idea where it was, and apparently it was at the club. Thank God. So I go over to this other club, and as soon as I get in there, super chill, like seems like the area is a little bit ghetto, but that's okay. It's not really, I don't know. I've only been there for 3 days now, so I can't really judge it yet. And I have a really cool story about something that's happened in there that's made me decide, like, I want to keep going back for sure. At least for a while, I want to keep going back for sure. Oh my God, I met someone that... I'm not even going to get into it. I'm not going to get into it until sometime in the future, but wow. So, okay, so I go in and I go to audition. And I'm a radical optimist. I think that everything happens for a reason, and to my benefit. They call people in general that think like this an inverse paranoid. You think that everything is happening for you, like the universe is happening for you. Can you fuck up and do things wrong? Yeah, absolutely. I've done that plenty of times. But I think that every single day is a new day. Every day is an option to become someone new and to set your life on a new and better path. So I get inside and I go to audition, and I'm auditioning with another girl. And she kind of seemed, no offense to her whatsoever, but I have no idea how this went down the way that it did. So we both go to audition, and I get hired for day shift and she gets hired for night. And I was really surprised. And it was kind of, I don't want to say it was like a blow to my ego, because I really wanted to work days anyway. That was what I wanted to do anyway. But it was weird. I'm just saying this because, like, I know there's a lot of girls out there that are self-conscious, and I just want you to know, like, shit happens, and that's okay. Because oddly, right, I get hired for day shift at that club, but at the last club I was at, that was like the best club in the city, I got hired for night shift. You know? So really, I've told you guys before, your personality has so much to do with if you get hired or not. It has so much to do with it. And I kind of met the guy that hired me at the first club, and I didn't at all talk to the second guy that hired me for day shift at the second club. So, okay, so anyway, so the whole point of this was drinking. So I end up starting work the next day. I think it was the next day. I think I went back the next day. And I go in, and at this point, I'm like, 4 days sober or something like that. 2 days sober. 2 days sober, excuse me. And, to this girl's credit, I have to say, I think it was that night I was leaving there, and I was feeling kind of depressed now because I just got hired for day shift. And I was like, why the fuck did I get hired for day shift? I was like, do I need to lose weight? I was like, what happened? What happened? And I didn't have a cute outfit to audition in at all. I don't even know what I wore, now that I think about it. So, like, I don't know what happened, but I felt bad. Okay, so I'm looking for a pool hall, right? I'm not looking for a bar. I'm looking for a pool hall. And I call this place with an incredible looking atmosphere, and the drinks did look phenomenal. I mean, like, oh my God. And I called and I said, hey, do you guys have a pool table there? And the guy said, no, we don't have a pool table, but we have like a volcano at the bottom of a like waterfall. I don't even know what he said. And I just started laughing. I was like, I have no, like, you sound so serious right now, but I don't know how you could possibly be serious. He was like, no, I'm serious. He was like, we don't have a pool table, but we have that. And I was like, and he goes, but if you want to go to a pool hall, then Ginger's has a pool table there. It's a pool hall. And I looked it up, and it was a gay bar. And I probably should have gone, because gay people would have cheered me up immediately, I'm sure. They always tend to do that. So anyway, I go to the bar that I called because that guy just seemed cool, and the drinks looked fucking great, really, is why I went. So I get in there, and I'm thinking maybe I'll have him make me a mocktail, just like a fake drink, but because I read that they make really good mocktails there, fake drinks. So I'm sitting down in this place. It's a gorgeous little restaurant, and I'm sitting down in debate, and I'm like, I really want to drink. And I had just texted somebody and asked them if they wanted to come meet me for a drink. Thank God they didn't message me back. And then I get on YouTube, and I see that this girl has replied to my comment saying, thank you for the encouraging words about, going in and staying strong and all this stuff. And that's when she was like, listen, if you do drink, because I just made this claim on the internet, right? Whatever that means. It was to myself, but it feels even worse, right? If you go back on what you said you did and you told people, if you told other people, it just feels weird or bad, or it makes you feel like a failure. And I was ready to fail. And I get on there, and I see that she said, basically, she wrote a long response, but the words that I remember that stood out that made me stand up and leave were, she goes, if you drink, don't feel like a complete failure. And I was like, fuck this. I was like, I'm not going to fail on day 2. So thank you so much for saying that to me. You have no idea, really. I mean, now I'm on day 7, right? It's these little choices that make up your life. And had I caved that day, I would have probably started taking shots the next day when I did go into this club to go to work. So thank you so much for that. It's interesting. It's so interesting to me how encouraging words, even from strangers, can literally change your life. Like, that just gave me goosebumps to think about it. That can literally change your life. So again, thank you for that, because that really, 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 really meant a lot to me. I don't know if anybody could have said anything else that would have made me get up and walk away, but it was those words, don't feel like a complete failure if you drink. And I was like, fuck that. I'm not going to do that. So today is day 7, and the whole point of this, nice long run around to this point here, is that I have been around a lot of alcohol over the last week, a lot of it, a full bar for 7 hours a day, at least 3 days now. So that's a lot of hours. And every single time I go for a walk in San Francisco, which has been every day so far, I pass lots of bars, lots of very inviting looking bars, lots of bars that look very inviting with happy hour and attractive men inside of them. And I'm like, man, this is way more difficult than I thought it was going to be. But after going into work 3 days now, yesterday was my 3rd day, every single day I have watched what alcohol does to people shot by shot. And I will tell you what, it is fascinating, and I want to say terrifying. Maybe terrifying is a little strong, scary to see. And then I just read an article, or started to read an article this morning, actually, about how dementia, like Alzheimer's, dementia, losing your mind, one of the number one contributing factors to that as you get older is alcohol. And, it takes a minute to break the cycle. It takes a little bit to break the cycle. But, man, now that I'm on day 7, that might not sound like a lot to maybe any of you. But, man, 7 days is a long time when you're used to drinking every single freaking day. Except for, one day when you're too sick to drink or something like that. And then sometimes you'll even drink at night. And some of you probably know what I'm talking about. So anyway, I'm proud of myself, actually, that I haven't done it. And if there's any of you that want to stop drinking, start it with me. Start it with me. Tell me that you're doing it. I asked my dad to stop drinking with me. So he stopped drinking at the same time. And I don't think he's had a drink since either. And he kind of challenged me. He was like, who do you think's going to drink first? And I was like, stop it. I was like, don't say stuff like that. I told him, I said, I wanted to go for a year. I wanted to go for a whole year without drinking. And see how my life changes. I want to see what happens to my brain. I want to see what happens to my productivity. I want to see what happens to my body. I want to see what happens to my face. Those are physical things you can see. I want to see stuff, and I want to know what it does to my mind, because I know I have a cloud, or had a cloud around it, and I'm sure a lot of it probably definitely had to do with alcohol. So far I'm 7 days in, and I'm actually doing really, really well. I'm feeling less stressed out, which is shocking to me. I'm actually going into work not freaking out. I'm actually comfortable going into work, and everything's chill. And I've been walking there, and it's like a 2.5 mile, something like that, 2 mile walk, and it feels great. And I walked back yesterday, so I walked 5 miles yesterday, and I feel really, really, really good. And seeing the girls, especially the customers, are one thing. This one guy, I've had exactly one person give me a funny look saying, I'm taking a break from drinking. I'm not going to drink for a while. I've had exactly one person give me a bad look about this so far. And he was taking shots of tequila, and when I saw him an hour later, he was literally bouncing up and down in his, grown man, bouncing up and down in his chair, way too loud, I mean fucking plastered. It's just, it's crazy. And then seeing the girls, these happy, perky, cheery girls, 3 shots of tequila later, they're in the dressing room, sitting down, hunched over, looking like they're gonna fucking pass out. And I'm like, that's what this looks like? That's what it looks like to drink? I don't think I looked like that, but I don't know. I had one person that I lived with once tell me he was going to record me. And I said, don't do that. And he goes, I wouldn't do that. He goes, you don't want to see yourself like that. And that was scary, but it wasn't enough to scare me away from drinking. So anyway, things are going really good. As far as how things are going at the club, day shift is really, really, really slow. But I have basically doubled my money every day that I've been there, so I'm happy. Well, kind of. I've gone from doubling my money since I started. So, well, yeah, I'm really bad with percentages, but I've significantly increased how much money I've made every day so far. and I'm picking up more and more cues about how to act and things like that. There's still a lot to figure out in this club because it's a totally different hustle than Florida is. And I'm trying to figure out, like, a lot of these guys are regulars. Do I try to get money now, or do I try to play the long game, like make them feel comfortable, don't really ask them if they want to come with me, like just kind of let them, I'm not sure what to do, but things are going really well, and this whole no drinking thing is going really well. So I'm really happy to say all that. So I hope you guys are doing really well. I love you guys, and I will talk to y'all soon. Bye.